Hello, I'm Lizzie Martin and I'm going to talk through my public engagement event for the PGCARMs module. So at first, why public engagement? Why did I choose to do the module? So I think a lot of research is really useful for the public to know, and as researchers we spend a lot of time trying to find out the information, particularly in my field. I research eating behaviour and its links to obesity and eating disorders, and that's really useful for everyone who eats to know, so really everyone in the public. And in my mind there are two ways that the public get access to this information. So the first is through direct engagement with us scientists, and the second is through secondary sources like news outlets. From news outlets, though, I think that sometimes there's a difficulty in the communication of research. Sometimes the information gets a little bit convoluted. So just as an example here, this is a news headline that I found that says weight loss may be easier than you thought, just don't eat at night. So it's telling people if they don't eat at night time, then they will lose weight. And this is the actual research that came through. So it finds loads of benefits of eating earlier, but these benefits aren't actually necessarily associated with weight loss, and it was only in men, and only men with pre-diabetes. So research does get a little confused, I think, in the translation from the science to how it is given to the public. And of course, public engagement isn't only useful for the public who are receiving it in terms of mutual learning. We get feedback from the public, and they can help us have different perspectives on the research. And I think, again, particularly in my research area, I think it's quite easy to kind of look at research and look at it kind of hard statistics and facts and say, okay, to improve people's health, we need to do X, Y, and Z. But through engagement with the public, we see kind of how likely it is that people would engage in those behaviours and how easy they think that method of improving health is. So before I go on talking about my engagement event, I just kind of wanted to outline what it was. So I made an animated video called What is Interoception and What Does It Have to Do with Eating? So this is one of my research areas. Interoception is the process of sensing and interpreting internal signals from inside the body. It's linked to eating and obesity and eating disorders. So just wanted to play a quick few seconds. So that was the video. So it went on to talk about what interoception is and how that is used to guide eating. So that was the event itself. So looking back to my planning phase, in terms of specificity, I found it a little difficult to make a set audience for the video, just because, as I said, everyone eats and I think it's useful for everyone. So narrowing down a specific audience was difficult. I decided on children above 10 because I thought some of the concepts might be a bit difficult to understand for younger children, but then also adults as well. And I decided that I wanted to go to, you know, the public, so people without prior knowledge or education on the topic. Videos are good, I think, for this measurable point. So you get statistics in terms of how many people it's reached through viewing numbers. But things like YouTube also give you kind of the age and the geography of viewers. As well as this, I made a questionnaire because I wanted not only that kind of quantitative feedback, but also some qualitative measurements. So I asked people who watched the video if they had a spare few minutes just to fill in a questionnaire, say how they found the video, what they liked about it and what they didn't like about it. The achievable point, so what was achievable kind of changed between when I signed up for this module and actually doing the event, of course, because of the COVID-19 restrictions. So the event had to be achievable online. So a video seemed like a straightforward thing to do. In terms of practically achievable for me as well, I've never made an animated video before, so I had to assess what was achievable for me in the time frame that I needed to have it done. So I had to do some research into what video making programs I could use and what was the easiest and free. In terms of relevance, the topic of interoception is gaining interest in research. And as I said before, the topic is relevant to anyone who eats, particularly in the Western society, as we have increasing rates of obesity. and learning the processes that influence your eating is really useful. And the last one is time limited. So the video now is on our lab channel for the future, but I set a cutoff for feedback for 3 weeks. And I based that on previous videos that have been uploaded to the channel. You see kind of in the first week or two, initial wave of people watching it, and then it does taper off. So I thought 3 weeks was achievable for me to make the video and have it on there for that amount of time. So I asked people who watched the video to fill in a questionnaire and talk about their demographics. So people reported how old they are, and you can see that there's a fairly good spread of ages. The majority of people watching the video were in their 20s. Unfortunately, no one under 20 actually responded to the questionnaire. So I don't know if that means that no one under 20 watched it, but it does seem like there's a higher tendency of people who are in their 20s to watch the video and respond to the questionnaire. And then I asked education levels. As I said, one of my objectives was to get the video seen by people without any specific prior knowledge on the topic. And I think this was achieved. You can see that a big chunk of people who responded to the questionnaire didn't have any kind of university education, which suggests that they didn't have any prior knowledge specifically on this topic. So next I asked people to rate certain aspects of the video from 1 to 5. So the first is, how interesting did you find the video? And you can see here that most of the respondents gave it a 4 or a 5 out of 5 for how interesting they found it. The second question was, how understandable did you find the video? Of course, in public engagement, especially as I had an age range going to children who were just above 10, I wanted it to be nice and understandable. So again, the majority of people gave that a 5 with 1 3. And then, how informative did you find the video? So this is really kind of asking if people did manage to learn anything from the video. So the majority of people again gave a 5, and 2 people rated it a 4 for how informative it was. And then going on to qualitative feedback. So this slide looks a little bit busy, but I just wanted to kind of give examples of the range of feedback I got, because it was quite varied. And this was really, really useful in kind of thinking, okay, if I was going to make a video again in the future, what did I do well and what might I want to change? And something that I noticed through looking through this actually was sometimes the things that people said were positives in the video were also other people's negatives. So this really came through with the animations in the video. A lot of people said that they really liked the illustration and the animations and that they were easy to follow. But then some people said that they didn't find the animations particularly useful or necessary. And this second point in the red box here of the details of the animations being distracted, that made me think of how I had such a large audience. So in psychology, we know that as people get older, there's a higher propensity for people to get distracted by things. So for this person in particular, I actually looked at the age that they reported, and they were in the eldest age group there. So I think there's a fair amount of conflicting feedback there, and I think it would be much easier to kind of get a solid approach to delivering this public engagement if I had a smaller and more specific target audience. And so based on all that, next time what I would do, as I said, I would do a narrower target audience, because I think the more diverse your population is, they will have different preferences. The second thing I would like to do is incentivize the feedback questionnaire. So as I said, I asked people if they saw the video, if they could, to fill in the questionnaire, and not many people did. So 13% of the reviewers responded. So I think if I offered something like an Amazon voucher or something equivalent, if they had watched the video, that would help me get more responses. In terms of the younger audience, as I said, I was quite disappointed that it didn't seem to have reached anyone in the younger audience. And I think I might need a more specific outreach for a younger audience. So maybe through contacting schools or through university undergraduate lecturers or something, to try and get that group of people, because otherwise they might not have kind of known where to find the video. And the last thing that I would say was to give the public more of an opportunity to ask questions. So as I said in the first couple of slides, mutual learning is a massive benefit of public engagement. But apart from the feedback, I couldn't kind of open a proper two-way communication channel with the video. So next time I'd quite like to maybe set up an online chat and just ask people, or give people the opportunity to ask questions if they want, and talk to them more about what they liked and they didn't like. So thank you for watching.